Right, hello and welcome back. We're going to be playing another practice game right through in this particular video, and as I've said before, we're going to focus on certain highlights of some of these practice games, you know, key moments in them. So let's go for it. Well, 1 and 4, so it's a 4 and a 1 for black, and the standard play for 4 and a 1, as far as my playing style goes, is to move 4 and a 1 here, where you're putting an extra checker on this point, which is a good thing to have in case you get more than one priming roll later, like a 3 and a 1 and a 4 and a 2, or a 6 and a 1 and 3 and a 1, etc. So you always have one spare checker here to prime another point if the opportunity presents itself. So now for white, it is a 6 and a 4. I do not recommend anchoring a 6 and a 4 here. This is not a key priming point. You're burying, if you go 6 and 4 with these two checkers, you're burying two checkers on anchoring a priming point, which is not a key point, so that is not a good move. I've explained the opening moves in a previous video if you want to watch that one, but 6 and a 4, the ideal move for me is 6 and 4 here. So next we have a double 2 for black, and the ideal move in this case, well, black can actually do a hit here. Normally I'd move double 2 and double 2 there to sit on a fairly good, to anchor a fairly good point here. Right now I can hit with the double 2 there. If I hit with a double 2 here, and then I roll a, if I hit with a double 2 here, then roll a 6 and a 1 with my next roll, I can't prime off here, but I mean, this is again where in backgammon you have to take your time to think about the move you want to make and what the ideal move is. Yeah, so what I might do with a double 2 here is, let's see what a hit does. Let's just hit here anyway, because it'll cost white one roll of the dice, plus white gets relegated back to here, although it's pretty much open here for white. I mean, I'm reluctantly playing that double 2 there, but anyway, and let's advance those two checkers 2 points here. Not ideal, but yeah, let's just see what happens. 5 and 1. Well, white has two choices here really. It can go 1 here and 5 there, which would leave a spare checker here for priming later, or can go 5 here and 1 there. It's really a much for a muchness. I'd be inclined to go 5 here and 1 there for now, because black's already advanced those two checkers, and a spare checker here, well, it could prime off, so anchor off some key priming points here, but it's much of a muchness really. Let's just play those there and see what happens, because that could be an opportunity for white to maybe anchor off some key points here perhaps, Whereas if two checkers were left here, they can't really do much on their own back here. So I think that's a fair risk for white here at the moment. So with the next roll of the dice, which is black's turn, double two. Well, black can't really do a hit anywhere here with the double two. Not that it matters anyway. I mean, he'd be hitting in his own quarter. Doesn't matter that much. So right now, the ideal move for a double two for black would be to go double two. This is actually quite a good roll, and double two there. So in other words, black has now anchored a key priming point here, and also has anchored here, which is going to make it very difficult for white to trap him there, because that's a very key anchoring point for white, which black has now blocked. So yeah, very good position right now for black, with a couple of very lucky rolls there. And incidentally, this is where capturing or hitting rather with that double two here previously paid off for black. See, white now rolls a 3 and a 1. Now, yeah, very bad, horrible roll for white. You see, that's the point about anchoring a key priming point here. That's a key priming point here for white, which black has blocked, because 3 and 1 would have been a move here, but he can't do that right now. So what is he going to do? Well, if he goes 1, 2, 3, it's good from the point of view that, again, just like black has done, white would have also covered a very key priming point, that one of black's key priming points here. But then the problem is white would then have to leave a checker on its own there somewhere. Now the other, well, yeah, so 3 and a 1, not a good roll. You see, this is the thing about how it is such an advantage to anchor up key priming points in your opponent's quarter, because it can present bad problems like this. I mean, there's no way out for white other than to leave a checker unguarded there. I mean, he can't go 1, 2, 3. I mean, can't do anything. Can't go 1, 2, 3 and then 1. Can't go 1 and then 1, 2, 3. That's all blocked off there. So he has no choice whatsoever. I mean, he could go 1, 2, 3, 4 here, but what's the difference between leaving a checker on its own there and on its own here? At least if he goes 1, 2, 3 here and leaves a checker on its own there, at least he's anchored off a key priming point here, rather than doing nothing here and just leaving a checker on its own there. So, excuse me, if that checker gets hit, yeah, not a good position. A few bad rolls for white and a few good rolls for black just makes all the difference within the game. Black right now is overall in a better position than white, without a doubt. So 6 and 1. Well, that's lucky for white that black cannot do a hit. Now, we mentioned before, when with the double two, when black did a hit there, if you then roll the 6 and the 1, he couldn't anchor here, which is a problem right now because he can't anchor here. Yeah, do think your moves right through backgammon. Always stop and think about your moves before making hasty decisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1. Yeah. Well, yeah. if right now black moves a 6 and 1 here, that effectively becomes a running game, which would be advantageous for black because white has still got these two checkers back here, so it'd be somewhat of an advantage for black. I'd be inclined not to run this early in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1, which you could play there. You've effectively buried that checker, but that seems harmless at the moment. And then the pressure is still on white to cover that checker, you see. So I would be inclined now to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then 1 here. That checker's buried, but it still blocks off that key priming point for white. Those checkers can run anytime they want. Plus the pressure is there for white to cover that checker, but no pressure for black for leaving a checker on its own. Actually, I'm having second thoughts about that. I'll take that back here. I will play the 6 and 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1 here, because I think leaving that checker on its own right now is fairly harmless. There's not, white has to roll a 2 and a 1 to be able to hit that and cover that, so that's a fair risk to take for black, especially to advance his pieces where in a running game he'd be at an advantage. So double 1. Well, with the double 1 here is obvious. So taking that risk has not paid off for black, because he gets hit there, double 1 here, and then covers here. Not sure if that's a big advantage for white. I mean, one key priming point is covered here, but another one's given up there, so not a terrible advantage for white. Let's see if black can do a roll here and then run that piece away. So, double 1. Well. Interesting. Let's see. He can leave that one there for now. Perhaps right now he can take advantage of the situation by going double 1 here, again covering a key priming point here, and then just advancing that one space there, perhaps. That might be the best move right now. Double 1 was a very lucky roll for white in this particular case. Yeah. Okay, 6 and 1 for white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1. Well, you know, previously, I'm inclined not to run that checker there, because again, if that checker on its own gets hit with a double 1 or gets hit some other way, not too comfortable about running that one at the moment, considering that black did exactly the same thing. He got hit with a double 1, so yeah, that risk has not paid off so far, so let's not do that. Let's just go 6 and 1 here. Reasonably harmless. I mean, there's still priming opportunities here, perhaps. See what happens now. Double 3, well, that's trapped there. With a double 3 at the moment, in order not to leave a checker on its own, perhaps black can advance those 3 checkers here, double 3 here, and then 1, 2, 3 there, and there you go. Quite a few points have been primed off here for black right now. So that's not a bad position at all for black. Okay, white rolls a 6 and a 3. Interesting, very interesting. Yeah, not the ideal move. Not an ideal roll of the dice. I mean, 6 and a 3 becomes a little bit dangerous here, because if he moves 6 there, we can't move any of these checkers 3 spots. So a 6 here would mean that he'd have to leave a checker on its own somewhere here, which is not good at all. What White doesn't want to do is get hit right now, because if he gets 3 checkers here with all these points primed off, not a good position at all. So cannot leave any checkers on their own here, which he would have to do if he wants to move any checkers here, from here. So, I mean, yeah, it's impossible to White, other than moving this checker, it's impossible for White to move any other checkers anywhere else without leaving a checker on its own. That would just spell disaster. So, not a good roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the only other thing really that White can do is go, well, 1, 2, 3 here or 1, 2, 3 there. Much of a muchness, really. 1, 2, 3. Let's just go there. See what happens. 4 and 2. Well, yeah. Well, Black can attempt to run. Yeah. Well, he can't really move. He can't move any checkers from here because he'd be exposing a checker. Excuse me. One, if he moves that one, he'd have to hit there, but leave a checker on its own. Not good at all. I'm not keen about moving that checker 4 spots and that checker 2 spots. You're kind of burying a checker here and then leaving 2 checkers on their own. I mean, I don't see the point. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty harmless to leave that on its own. It hasn't travelled far. Hasn't got far to go back if it gets hit. So it's a fairly acceptable risk, that one. 4 and 2. Well, yeah. See, White has to worry about that checker on its own there in case it gets hit. So I'd be inclined to play 1, 2, 3, 4 to protect that checker. And really, from there, it's much of a muchness, really. I'd probably be inclined, well, if you move that checker 4 spots, you've buried it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit better there, rather than moving that one 4 spots there. So let's see what happens from this point on here. Double 4. Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go back again. We can do a hit here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do a hit here, but then that kind of leaves that checker on its own there. And if White then rolls a 1 and manages to cover that one, it sort of creates some problems for Black. I mean, yeah, much of a muchness really, but oh, well, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4 here. That's 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that'll leave one checker on its own there. I don't want to do that. So let's perhaps go 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and that still allows Black a fair chance of hitting that checker and priming. So yeah, let's see what sort of roll White. If White can run, White ideally has to run that checker. Then it becomes a running game. Well, yeah. See, that's the ideal roll for White now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and and well, just to get those checkers close to home. 3 and 1. Oh, what a terrible move. What a terrible dice, sorry. What a terrible roll. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Not good. It's creating a bit of a candlestick here. Not good, not good. 4 and 3. Well, let's see. 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just trying to run those checkers as close to home as possible. Anyone's game at the moment, I'd say. 3 and 2. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. You don't want to create a candlestick here. Perhaps black's got a slight advantage at the moment. 4 and 5. Well, with a 4 and a 5, let's get these checkers inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Not ideal again to form a candlestick here. Not terribly ideal, but gets the checkers in there. 6 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you're running a game here, just get the checkers in your quarter as early as possible. So you would not go 1, 2, 3 with this checker. You'd go 1, 2, 3 with that checker. Creating a candlestick, not good, but gets the checkers in your own quarter. So that's the idea, really. Double 2. Well, yeah, okay. We will go 1, 2. 1, 2, created major candlestick problems here, but has got the checkers in. That's what you want to do right now. 6 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 again. Both sides have created a candlestick here. Not ideal for either side. Perhaps black has a slight advantage at the moment. Double 5. See, again, rare for a double 5 to be advantageous, but in this case, it could turn the game around for white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could turn the game. White is right now at a slight advantage. 4 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. Yeah, white is at a slight advantage at the moment. Black would have to roll some doubles to save the game, possibly. Let's see what happens. It's neck and neck right now. Double 1 or bad roll. Very, very bad roll for white. Can't take any checkers off. 1 and then 1. Yeah, double 1s can be bad in some circumstances. Okay, so 5 and a 1. We'll take that checker off for black. Uh, 6 and 5 for white, so that's a good roll considering it'll get rid of some of the candlesticks there. Okay, so now it's black's turn to roll again. And so black rolls a 4 and a 3 are not a good move because he can take off the 4 there and has to play 1, 2, 3 here. Not the ideal roll, not ideal at all for black. White is slightly ahead in the race here at the moment. 6 and 3 for white, and oh dear, another bad roll for black. 3 and a 1, goodness. So white slightly ahead in the race here, but a bad roll for white this time. Again, 3 and a 1 for white, so yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. Double 4, well, 4 is completely empty here, so that's the problem with candlesticks, you see. Oh dear. Excuse me, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 again here. Candlestick here isn't too bad on the 2 or the 1 point. I mean, yeah, but still, Not 3 and 1. Again, a bad roll for white, which helps black quite a bit now, considering he had a bad roll. Black needs a double desperately. 6 and 3. Black definitely needs a double to win this match from this point on, I would say. 3 and 1. Well, what a disaster roll for white. White's got to play both of those checkers. Can't take any checkers off right now. 1, 2, 3, and 1. That's all he can do. Suddenly black's back in the game. 6 and a 5. Still, it's anyone's game right now. 2 and 1. Bad roll for white. Anyone's game. Anyone's game. 6 and 5. Very good roll for black. Yeah. You've got to be careful when you don't bump the backgammon board. One lesson in backgammon: don't do what I just did right now. So 3 and a 2. Another bad roll for white. Another bad roll for white. Not a good roll at all. So black now back in the game. 5 and a 2. Off go those checkers. White rolls a 4 and a 1. Another bad roll. Another bad roll for white. It is now black's game at the moment. Black is ahead in the game. It's all over for white. As you can see, a series of bad rolls for white. More bad rolls for white than for black. It was not a question of getting either side getting good rolls. Both sides got bad rolls in that end game, but white just happened to get more bad rolls than black. And even if black hadn't got a double right now, it would have been virtually, it would have been pretty much impossible for white to get back in the game, even without a double for black. Yeah. I mean, black would have had to roll a couple of 2 and 1s in a row for white to win. So, yeah, more bad rolls for white than black. And finally, with the double for black, the game is all over in black's favour. Thank you very much for watching.